Okay, let's see if this is picking up the audio here. I think it is. Whew. Hopefully we can get the audience back, but it is what it is. I unplugged my mic trying to make room for my phone charger, and when I did that, it made it so that you couldn't even change it. There's nowhere to go to change your mic settings, so it was basically on mute the whole time. So it is what it is. Let's see here. See if anybody's back on. We'll probably stay on for a few minutes, and then if nobody's back on, then we will just end it here. But if people get back on, we'll do it again. Kind of frustrating because I thought this started off pretty well, but the fire alarm and then the mic audio thing is kind of move things around a bit. And good grief, it is so hot in here that I am quite literally sweating. Okay. So if you're here, we will just have you comment so I know that you're here and that we at least have an audience. And then, okay, Justin is back. That's good. Could you guys hear me at all at the end, or was it completely muted the whole way? That's weird. That's weird that they don't even have like a microphone setting thing. That way you could, I guess, fix it in case you do unplug it. I mean, that was on purpose there, but I don't know if kids, but I could imagine if you're doing a live stream and a kid just pulled on that, next thing you know, you don't have audio. But we're back. Everything's good. It's all good there. I guess now that we know that, then we won't do that again. And I guess that just means that our third live stream will be better, hopefully, as long as there's no more fire alarms. And then by the time that happens, I'm pretty sure the carnival will be going from across the street. So we won't have to worry about anything like that, which will be so helpful just because we don't have to worry about the music. We don't have to worry about the people. And I don't know if people think it's funny or cool or whatever, but they love to rev their engines, like stop in the middle of the street and then just drive their car as fast as they can past the carnival. I don't know what they're doing, but seems to be a thing around here right now. And then I think we're still at the intermission. Yes, we are. And hopefully we can get the audience back. It seemed like just as soon as we were getting a fairly big crowd, that's when I, of course, pulled that cable thinking that you could just plug it back in and everything would be fine, but not the case. Just dropped the puck here in the second period. Score 0-0, still shots 8-7 in Winnipeg's favor. The lead in scoring chances too, but I definitely think the last 10 minutes of that was more of an all Montreal type thing because I think the first 10 minutes they led in scoring chances either 5-0 or 5-1. So then that means Jeremy Smith, how you doing? Like that emoji. That's a cool emoji. So I think it was more of a Canadiens got their feet underneath them going into that second half of that first intermission. We'll see if that carries over into this one. I know we covered the Lightning Hurricanes game last night, and it kind of seems like the Lightning get off the slow starts in games, at least from the games I've seen. If they can just get their feet underneath them a little bit early, they'll be all right. Look like it's going to be a high stick on Montreal. Somebody got Lowry up high. I don't know if there's any blood or not, but I think it's a really weird rule that, like, the penalty, there's different penalties for if you draw blood or not, because somebody brought that up once before. It was a good point where it said, if you're just a bleeder, if you're somebody that, has thin blood, or something like that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to bleed. But yeah, I think they're just looking at that as a high stick. So Winnipeg will go on the power play for 2 minutes. And I didn't get a look at who got called for the penalty, but this will be the first power play of the game for either team. Let's see if Winnipeg could score here. And I don't think that their power play was, very dominant this year, which with the group they have, they should at least, I think, have a top 10 power play unit. Do they have an offensive defenseman, though? Because that would help if they don't. If I remember right, they don't get a ton of offense out of their blue line, so maybe that's something they could look at. Two-way guy. There's been a lot of people that I talk to that say maybe getting Seth Jones for them would be a big deal. I'm not going to say anything on that because I think that Seth Jones might be a little overrated at this time, but we'll see. I don't know if he'd want to go to Winnipeg, but it'd be another Wood Jacket that goes there. Obviously, Pierre-Luc Dubois, who had a little bit of a quiet year. I expected him to do better. Ehlers has got it, and he tries to go behind the net, pass it up into the low slot. They can't keep it in, and they're going to have to regroup, but Montreal applying a decent amount of pressure on the PK. Dominic Moore gets a shot off here, but I don't even know if it went to Price. It might have got deflected off of a player. Morrissey is fighting for it, so is Ehlers. Winnipeg manages to keep it. Connor passes it over to... No, it's back to Ehlers. Ehlers takes a shot, can't get it to go. It goes, takes a weird bounce behind Carey Price, but it still goes back in front of the net. And Montreal actually might have a chance to get a shot off here on the penalty kill, and they score. Tyler Toffoli with the penalty kill, odd man advantage, or odd man deficit goal, takes a 1-0 advantage while on the penalty kill. Great patience by Toffoli. Manages to keep the puck while the defender is right up on him with their stick, and he gets it top left. So it's a really good goal there on the penalty kill. Now they still have 41 seconds they have to kill off Winnipeg's power play. We'll see how that goes as well. It's the second shorthanded power play or PK goal for the Canadiens. It's the third. Thank you, Jeremy. It's the third power play, goal for Tyler Toffoli in the playoffs. And if Toffoli could get hot, they're going to be in a lot better shape. He had a really great year, especially against the Canucks. I'm glad that people are coming back. I was worried that, with that audio, I wanted to fix it, but the longer we stayed, the more I realized people weren't going to stay around, and my wife didn't want to be on camera, which is understandable. I know people are camera shy, don't want that, but I figured we might as well cut the cord and then see if people come back. So it is good that people are back. We've got a part 2. I was worried that maybe I'd do it too fast and then people wouldn't join, thinking that, I don't know, but we got people coming back, so that's good. 5 seconds left on the power play. It doesn't look like Winnipeg will even get a shot off here. And Foley's just fighting along the boards towards the corner for the puck. Petrie tries to get it off to another Habs player. Can't get it to go, though. In Game 3, they're talking about that now. That'll be Sunday night, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. I won't be able to cover that. Like I said, I got weekend plans, but we'll be back for another broadcast Sorry, I thought there was a great chance there. It didn't happen. This Tuesday or Wednesday, I should be able to. The Jets are offside here. Might have had a good chance, too, if they had got that to go. And since I didn't expect to do this today, I didn't have a list of players' names and all that put out, so I'll definitely be more prepared for this third one. I think the third live stream, as long as nothing crazy happens like the fire alarm drill, I think it could be a fairly good, live stream. I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means, but I think it'll be a lot more clean than especially the first one. I thought you guys were amazing. I think it was just at points I didn't know what to do, especially since you know, at the start I wasn't sure what crowd I'd get. And Montreal is just looking better and better as time goes on. After that first 10 minutes in the first, they looked kind of lack of, I guess, urgency is how I would describe it. They didn't seem to have a lot of urgency, but ever since then, I think they have outshot and outchanced the Maple, or not the Maple Leafs, the Jets, that is. Shots are tied 8-8. Actually, that might not be up to date. I'm waiting for them to bring back that graphic. And then they lead in chances 7-5 right now. Shots are actually 9-9, 1-0 Montreal lead right now. They're just trying to get the puck out of their own end. Winnipeg might look like they're trying to get a good possession here. And it's tough because possession really doesn't last long in hockey. Oop, Kopp almost had a chance to catch it midair, bring it down, and shoot it, but he ended up falling while he did that. It's going to be another icing call. I wish that they kept track of icings a little bit more just to see what teams led that category. I might actually have a website that I could find that on, but if they just show that in general. I don't have a problem with icing if you're in the right situation to do it, but you don't want to make it a habit. If you're really in dire straits, I get it, but no, like it's one of those things that if you're towards the league leader for it, it's probably not a good thing. I think last year it might have been Kirby Dach that led for most icings forced, which is a good thing. That's kind of a weird stat that I got to keep track of. And I heard a weird noise out there. Hopefully everything's all good there. Hi, Tyler. Yeah, as soon as you got back here, that's when everything went to pot, I guess they say, but not your fault. Obviously, I didn't realize that they didn't have like a way you could fix your audio thing. So of course, as soon as you're on there, I say hi, Tyler, and as that happened, I realized that I was muted and I couldn't do anything to fix it. We tried for like 5 minutes. I was getting real sweaty in here too. It's so hot in here. Can't wait to probably take a cold shower for this. Imagine if Montreal and Boston play in the finals. Oh, that would be one can dream. One can dream. I would love that a lot. A great original six matchup. Gallagher's along the boards. Gallagher has been kind of fun to watch at points in the playoffs. Bruins would win. You know, some Bruins fans would say Tuukka Rask would choke. I've had a few people that are Bruins fans tell me they don't have faith in Tuukka Rask. I would see them banking on Carey Price outperforming Tuukka, but I'm a big Tuukka Rask fan, I'd say. I've been a big Tuukka supporter for a while. I know that I'm not a big Bruins fan, but I like him as a goalie. And this could be a really, really good chance for Montreal if they can get it off here. Takes a shot, but it just goes wide. I don't even think he got it on goal. Yeah, I would probably, if I had to get a Bruins jersey, I'd probably get a Tuukka Rask jersey. Maybe even like the old retros. Or the retro reverse. Paul Bunyan, as I like to call him, has got the puck. Gustafson's got the puck now. Takes a little shot there, and again, I don't even think that was on net either. I need to look at, I do a weird stats edition. Oh, Ehlers might have a good chance here. Cobb has been towards the net pretty steadily this game. We'll see if he can actually get some good looks. And I didn't start the fire. If you like that song, Ryan started the fire. Or not that wasn't the actual song, but we didn't start the fire. And sport is the drink port followed by an S. I must be behind. But fun fact, in history class, my senior year, we had to make like a song about a certain time era using the beat of "We Didn't Start the Fire." So that was crazy. Well, I think we had the 1920s. I'm gonna look at Kopp's stats at the intermission and just see what kind of like what he provides. And it seems like what's weird is Montreal doesn't have a lot of like really great chances over the course of the year. But, against Winnipeg, with this blue line that struggles at times, they've had some really good looks. Have I ever heard the theory that tennis is a perfect sport? I have not. Do they get paid a lot of money? I imagine that some of the best ones probably get paid a lot. I don't know how like lucrative the business is. I don't know if they have like a tennis association or what. Corey Perry has just been, down low all game. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe he got a goal. He's pesky. I know a lot of people are not a big fan. Top players get paid hundreds of millions of dollars. Man, I should have been a tennis player. I think the weird thing is you really don't hear a lot about tennis for most of the year. I know that they've got the one thing that they do. No comment. You two can fight that out. Brendan Gallagher might have a chance here. There's a known anti-tennis troll. Yeah, I only hear about it like once a year when they've got that competition. I think it's in the UK or tournament, whatever you want to call it. I'm not very astute in the tennis world. Actually, I had a best friend that played tennis and baseball. He plays college baseball now, but he played tennis in high school. It was like a fall sport. He's a big, big guy, too. It's kind of surprising that he did tennis, but he was really good at it. He's got a few school, maybe even conference records, I think. And he went pretty far in his doubles thing for state. Caulfield with a really, really good shot, but off. I've noticed that with a lot of the Montreal shots, they're just, hanging them a little bit too far left. Wimbledon, I think that might be the one. I do know U.S. Open. It's kind of like golf, as I imagine, right? They've got like 4 big things. I watched the PGA like 2 years ago a little bit. That was pretty fun. Really relaxing. I know they make a lot of money if you win, obviously. There's about 10 minutes, just a little over 10 minutes left in the second. Shots 11-11. Montreal obviously leads 1-0 off that PK goal by Tyler Toffoli. And fun fact, I believe it was Cam Atkinson, Columbus Blue Jackets player, that led the league in shorthanded goals this year with 3. He might have been tied with somebody else. Kotkaniemi's got a good chance here. Oof, couldn't get it to go. Played tennis for a year and quit. They did run a lot. I noticed that. One of the teachers at my school was their tennis coach, and anytime I left football practice, the tennis courts were kind of by our like main field, and I noticed they ran a lot. I don't know if that's normal for tennis players, but at least for ours, they were always running. Now I don't know if that was due to like maybe a bad loss or something like that. But yeah. Oh! We got a breakaway here. Eric Stahl, old man Stahl, he doesn't have enough speed to get it. But had he been a few years younger, he might have. Oh, somebody's down. There's a power play for Montreal. We're going to take a look at that. There's about to be a big fight in this group chat because of tennis. And of course, they're going to go to a commercial break without explaining the penalty. They'll come back to it. No, what I will say is for my friend, he's like 6'4", something like that, and he was close to 300 pounds, but he's a really good tennis player. Now he was much better at baseball. PLD hat trick inbound. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. It's a big PLD guy, got his jersey, of course, and then he got traded. Let me tell you, there was one time, I will say this. In the summer, we had to um, go to the tennis courts, and we'd have to run the length of all the tennis courts combined, and we'd have to like touch certain lines. That might be what you're talking about. And that was brutal. We had to do it in a timed amount, and it was awful. I was not a big cardio guy. I played corner in high school. It's pretty all right at that. But yeah, running the tennis court thing was awful, especially when it was like 7 in the morning. Another workout that we did that I didn't like a lot is we used to have to take whatever those are called. I can't think of them. Where you put them on the bar, the weights you'd have to take like 45s, and they'd have like grooves where you could hold them, and you'd have to run around the track. And I was not a big fan of that. That made you really, really tired. But conditioning is important. I get that. Now, one thing I've always wondered with, hockey, baseball, tennis, um, you're obviously using one part that's more dominant than the other. You're using one arm. So I always wonder if people do more reps with the arm they don't use in order to like even out their muscles. Because if you're a pitcher and you use your right arm all the time, I would imagine not only your arm, but probably your pec and that trap as well. All those muscles would be bigger on the other side. And you wouldn't want it to be overtly big. And they're looking at the playoffs here. The first 5 games of the playoffs for Montreal, 0 for 14 on the power play. And I didn't see how many games. I think it was the last 4 games or 4 for 9. Now we'll see if Winnipeg could get a shorthanded goal here. We'll see how that goes. Minute 55 left on the power play for Montreal. They're just getting a shot of the bench here. Lowry's taking the face off. And I tell you what, I'm going to be completely honest. I might do a thing about this, a video. Winnipeg needs to absolutely go back to their old logo. I like that so much more than the one they have now. And I wish they changed their colors up a bit if they're not going to go back to the old logo. Nothing really crazy going on here for the power play. I don't even think Montreal's really got a chance to stay in Winnipeg's end here. What do you guys think of Cole Caulfield? I don't know if you've got to watch a lot of him so far, but again, defensively, the numbers have been rough. Roman is back. He might tell some jokes today. But, Cole Caulfield offensively has shown those glimpses of what he can be. So even if he's not a great defensive player, I think the offense should be there. Toffoli takes a shot, gets blocked. Suzuki's got it. Goes over to Caulfield. Toffoli kicks it back over to Caulfield. And they keep wanting to go cross crease, but Winnipeg's hip to the game, and they've got a defender right there to just break that up. You think the people arguing about tennis left? Yeah, see, the thing is like, I get that, maybe people like different sports, so I'm not going to be, hating on it. I've had enough people where I live, with Indiana. They say, you've either got the people that are real hockey fans or the people that just trash on hockey. So I try not to trash on it. Yeah, Roman, you should focus on him whenever he gets to play or whenever he's on the ice. He's, like I said, defensively, still rough. And I don't know what his number is, with his limited sample size. I can't tell you what kind of defensive player he will be, but I do think that he could be a big spark in Montreal's offense. And there's 8 seconds left on the power play, and it's going over to Weber. Give us a slap shot. He got the slap shot to go, but it got blocked by Hellebuck. Shea Weber's slap shots are one of my favorite things in the game to watch. And it's back to 5-on-5 play. And I don't know if you could. It's tough because it's like you don't get to judge speed, but it looks like Montreal's forwards, that is, are much faster than Winnipeg's blue line. Winnipeg's got the puck in Montreal's end. I don't know where the puck went. I think it went up in the netting, so face off here. Disappeared for a second. Everybody was looking for it. Carey Price couldn't tell where it was. You look at Connor, he couldn't tell where it was. Finally, it just dropped back down to earth. And we're at a commercial break here with about 7 minutes left in the second period. But yeah, I had no idea tennis players made that much. I don't know. Do they have like a? I know they have like the PGA. Do they have like a PTA, parent teacher meeting type thing? I don't even think they do that anymore for like a parent teacher meeting. When I was in school, elementary and maybe even towards high school, if you wanted, your parents would meet the teachers, and that was always nerve wracking, especially if you were goofing off in a class or maybe your grades weren't super good in there. But I think they got rid of that now, which is crazy. I remember always just being nervous because there's always at least one class that I might have just goofed off a little bit too much, and I didn't want my mom to talk to the teacher. I knew it was going to be an awkward car ride home talking about how I need to take things more serious. What about you guys? Did you ever have the PTAs or whatever they were called? Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal. There's that. Is she Japanese? I think it might be. I know that she just took some time off because of her mental health or whatever. She might. I don't know what she is. We'll just say she's Asian, but she's really supposed to be pretty good. She's the one that upset Serena Williams, I think. I don't know how much Serena Williams makes a year, but it's got to be in the millions if they're making that much money. I don't know much, but I know that she's won a lot. Just taking a look at the series here, or the games upcoming. You've got Boston and New York playing each other tomorrow at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Naomi Osaka. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that might be her. She's really young. I know that. I don't know how much older she is than me. She might not even be older than me. I'll look that up once we get a stoppage of play or something like that. But yeah, just under 7 minutes of play here. Looks like shots are 15-11 Winnipeg. We'll look that up now, actually, because there's a stoppage of play. It looks like Morrissey's hurt, so I won't say too much till we figure more out about that. Yeah, so she is Japanese. I thought she was, but I wasn't sure. I don't know if they've got a history of like good tennis players and all. Okay, so she's only 2 years older than me. I tell you what makes me feel bad is all my life I've been younger than the players getting drafted and playing, and now I'm at the point where they're starting to be younger than me, and it's just like, what have I done with my life athletically? I've had a great life, but in the terms of the athletic field, these guys are 18 and they're playing in the NHL, and I know that I would definitely never make it that far. I can tell you that much. I never even got to play hockey, but I don't know if I would have got very far. I always played defense for football for the most part, especially as I got older. They wanted me to play wide receiver for blocking plays because I was pretty good at blocking, but we ended up not doing it just because they ran about 200 to 300 plays, and I couldn't remember that. Sorry to cough there. And it feels like it's been a minute for Winnipeg to have a real good chance here, a really like dangerous chance. I'll have to take a look. You can look at some heat maps and stuff like that where they take shots. I'll see. There's been some shots they've taken pretty far out. I want to see if that's been a trend that's continued and the puck gets lost. For a second, it looked like they would be able to get a shot off Winnipeg that is down low, but just too many Montreal defenders down low. And Carey Price just makes stopping shots look easy. If there's not traffic in the net, at times it's just he puts up his glove like it's no big deal. You feel the same way? Yeah, I got offers to play D3 and D2 football, and I could have been a walk on um, for a D1 thing, but I don't. Do I think that I would have been, going to a big school and tearing it up? No, I don't think so. I definitely don't think I would have made it to the NFL. I probably would even get to play college football at a D1 program till like my probably, I'm going to be honest, maybe at best junior year, probably senior year. I'm not going to lie to you there. A lot of coaches liked my film, but I'm only like 5'9", 5'10", so they were not about the action. But I'm not going to lie to you and say that I could have went to, Alabama and started all 4 years or something crazy like that. Funny enough, I did actually play football with a guy that got offered to go to Alabama, but he ended up going to a smaller school because he wanted to start all 4 years and having to work his way there and probably getting to start his senior year. But at the time, come to think of it, had he done that, he probably would have made it to the NFL if he was able to start for Alabama. But he wanted to play 4 years of football, which I guess I get, but at the same time, I don't think he'll go to the NFL. Just a commercial break here. Feel free to talk about whatever, guys. You can talk to each other in the chat, talk to me, ask questions, just kind of talk about your day. I don't mind. And I think we might have gained, I think one subscriber. I think we were at 258 before this, and we are officially at 260. We've actually gained two. That's great. Thank you so much, guys. We are, working our way up to 300, which is huge. Roman says, football can be painful and your body might not last as long, but if you make it pro, you might make some huge money. Yeah, I played football from the time I was 4 to 18 and avoided some serious injuries, had some minor to medium injuries, and then I wrestled and also had some minor to medium injuries. I'm just kind of lucky there that I don't have anything major. I had some concussions, but other than that, we're all right. Back to the game here, just about 5.5 minutes. And we'll see if Winnipeg can score a goal here. Otherwise, Montreal will lead going into the third. Cole Caulfield again. He just keeps getting some looks. Even if they aren't, one-on-ones or a breakaway or anything, he's got some potential there. And he has to lead Montreal for shots on goal. I can guarantee that now. We're going to look at that going into the break. But, if I had to pick a Montreal Canadiens jersey, if I got one, I think if I get bigger, I'll probably get a jersey for, each team. That's probably a while away. But who knows? We have grown relatively fast. But might get a Caulfield or a Price jersey. Suzuki would be a good choice, too. I think the shots are 16-12 in Winnipeg's favor. And that could be a thing we could also talk about, especially as this series goes on, if Montreal ends up winning it. If they win this game, they're probably going to get outshot by Winnipeg again, and they're just taking advantage of the opportunities they get. Even if they get outshot, you still have to find a way to get pucks in the net. The Jets would love to see Pierre-Luc Dubois, step up like how we did last year against Toronto for the Blue Jackets in the qualifying round. I think he had a hat trick in one of those games. It's kind of when I thought he would be our franchise center, but saw how that worked. I expect Blake Wheeler to probably get some production here coming soon. We'll see there too. And if I do get this prediction wrong and the Canadiens end up winning it, I'm fine with it. Canadiens fans are really supportive of their team, and they're a historic team that, they haven't really won anything major since that 93 Stanley Cup. I don't even think that they've made it to the Stanley Cup final since then, but getting a deep run for them is always good for their fans and hockey fans as well. I think it gets more coverage, so that's never a bad thing. Now for Winnipeg, their fans are really good too. That's something the broadcasters are talking about. I can't, give this a super in-depth thing. Sorry, my nose itches like crazy, but they did talk about how it seems like Montreal's been going a little bit more north and south, and that makes sense, especially with how they've been playing since the end of the second half of the first. It seems like they have been playing a little bit more north-south, but Winnipeg has struggled at times to play it deep. And we'll take a look at the shot chart as well, like I said, after this period, just to see what we're looking at. Just under 3.5 minutes. Do you have pollen allergies? It's tough to say. I do think that I did have allergies a lot as a kid. It's not as bad as what it used to be, but I think one thing that I deal with a lot is like sinus headaches, stuff like that. I keep the room really cold whenever I can, so I think that's a big thing there. But yeah, literally, it's the worst thing in the world when they start, plowing the fields and stuff like that because my nose just gets clogged up pretty bad. But they've done a lot of that work. The corn's growing now, so I hope that maybe it dies down a little bit. Hoping to see maybe some good crowds here in Canada if they manage to get a team to go farther in the playoffs. They will because Montreal and Winnipeg obviously will be one of those teams, but I'd love to see a big crowd in either Montreal or Winnipeg. And it seems like they've been pretty well vaccinated, so I know that they've been pretty strict about that. Obviously, people have their own different opinions on that, but I think Canada's done pretty well vaccination-wise, so I'm kind of surprised that they've had such small crowds. We might see a good chance here from Montreal. I thought there was going to be a delayed penalty there, but there is not. Ooh, that was a good breakup right there. Otherwise, that would have probably been a really, really good chance for Montreal. They would have had it. I don't want to say low slot. There's no mid slot per se, but in that mid slot range, if you want to go with there, it's kind of in between those two, just above the face-off circle. And if you ever watch Pedersen from Montreal, Vancouver, he gets a lot of his goals from that face-off circle. I'd like to see him work on his face-offs. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but if he could get good on face-offs, that'd be big. I think the thing I like least about the summer is just all the mosquitoes all over the place. Even if you use spray, even if you use, like those tiki torches or whatever, you're just bound to get stung by them. Although, if you take like a hot spoon, run it under hot water, not insanely hot, you don't want to burn yourself, but hot water, you can kind of like get the swelling to go down and it won't itch as bad. I learned that a few years ago on the internet. Didn't believe it at first, but I looked into it a little bit more, and that seemed to be something there. Just under 2 minutes here, and it still 1-0 Montreal. The shot's still leading in Winnipeg's favor, 16-13. Actually, 16-14. Toothpaste works? Yeah, my wife says that all the time. I don't know why I don't go with that. I just think I don't like the way it would probably feel on my skin. So like the hot spoon, it's just like boom, you put it on there and then it's done. I got to give that a try though sometime. When we go to the drive-in, it's pretty bad. We've got these little bands that are supposed to keep them away, but it only can do so much. I mean, the mosquitoes, I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, but in the Midwest, they are just rampant. I wonder if they have mosquitoes like out west in like California and stuff like that. I don't know if it would be too hot in the summertime for mosquitoes to really thrive there, especially since parts of it are so dry. A lot of stuff going on at the net, but puck couldn't get in behind Hellebuck. There's a little skirmish here, as they like to call it, but still no major fights. I was expecting to see one big fight here in this game, but nothing yet. And if Montreal goes up 2-0, I don't know if it's locked up that they would win the series, but if I'm Ducharme, I'm at least going to say we have to win one of the 2 games at home if you get a 2-0 lead, just so that way you can go into Winnipeg with a 3-1 lead. Minute and 15 seconds left. Weber's got the puck, and it just gets turned over there. Just fighting along the boards, trying to get the puck there. Nice little hit there by Dubois behind the net. Couldn't get the puck, though. A lot of battling along the boards right now. Just under a minute. We've got 50 seconds to go before the second period ends. I gotta stop doing that. I keep messing with my headphone case, so if you hear that cracking noise or whatever that is, that's me. So I'm gonna put it away so we don't have to deal with that. Sorry if I've been doing that. It's kind of been a close game, so I feel like I'm on edge for these 2 teams. The shots might actually favor Montreal now. Let's see. Yeah, they favor them for the first time, 17-16. Just over 30 seconds here. We might get one good last chance for one of these 2 teams that could end up being Winnipeg, as they're in Montreal's end. Dumps the puck off. And Kopp just fell, tried to dump the puck off, didn't work. Tried to get it off the teammate, didn't go there. Eric Stahl with a really great chance, but I think he's just not got the speed that he once did. He's had 2 really good looks, wasn't able to bury the puck, but another chance for Winnipeg or Montreal, and that's going to be the end of the second. Montreal leads 1-0. Shots also in Montreal's favor, 17-16, and I don't know. This game's giving me overtime vibes. You can just see Stahl is going with everything he's got, trying to make it to the net and get a shot off. He does get it off, but it wasn't able to go in. And I will take a look at the stats. Yeah, Cole Caulfield leads by a wide margin for shots on goal for the Canadiens. He has 5. The highest besides that is 2. Let's see who leads for shots for Winnipeg. It's just, 5 different players tied for 2. Caulfield's not afraid to fire away. I kind of like that for a rookie. Sometimes you see them, I guess, be afraid to, fire away, maybe wait a little bit too long. I don't have a problem with him shooting the puck a lot. Take a look at the spread chart here and see if we can see where all these shots are coming from. And let's see what we got. My voice honestly feels a lot better than yesterday. Thank you for asking. I don't know what it is. I think it probably helped that since I didn't feel so great this morning. I just kind of slept for most of the early afternoon and all that. So maybe I had time to heal up, but didn't end up going to get cough drops. It feels better. Hopefully it can hang with us towards the end of this. But yeah, overall it feels pretty good. Trying to see if we can get a look at the power play. And I don't know if Montreal's got a shot off on the power play. It doesn't show the chart, them having a chance. And for the spread chart, you can just see that it's been a lot of really good looks for Montreal. They've been able to get a lot of good shots off. And Winnipeg, it's just can't really get a good net front presence going. If I got that right, we'll have to see here. Yeah, it's definitely Montreal's favor. They lead in scoring chances 17-9. That is a big, big difference. High danger chances, they lead 7-2. And still, though, it's actually tied for Corsi through the first 2 periods, 50-50. So it's been pretty dead even. And then I wonder who leads for blocked shots. Let's see if we can get that. I'm going to actually look at the points and see who has points for Montreal. Let's go individual stats. Well, that can't be updated correctly because it's not giving me the points. So Shea Weber and Tyler Toffoli currently are listed as having points. Obviously, Toffoli had the goal. Weber had the assist. For some reason, I don't know why I blanked it, and I thought it was 2-0 Montreal. I just spaced it there. But, Weber, really happy that he's been able to continue to play. Weber was always a guy that I liked. I know that at times it seems like people aren't a huge fan of Weber, especially in like the, at times the analytic community, but I'm a big fan of Weber. And of course I muted that. So yeah, I am not running out of water yet. I got make sure it's unmuted. I got 2 glasses of water, one which is our standard glass of water, like the standard ones you can buy at stores, the normal glasses, and then I got one that I got at a baseball game a few years back that holds a bunch of water. Obviously, when you bought it, it just held pop, but holds a ton of water, and that's about halfway full, so it should be able to get us through the end of this game unless we hit overtime. And if that's the case, I might pace myself a little bit if it's still 1-0 towards the end. But yeah, if Montreal doesn't win this game, that is going to be tough for them because offensively they have had a lot more chances. I know the shots are about even, but the quality of chances are much, much better for Montreal. And overall, let's see here. They're on pace based off expected goals to score about 2 goals with the chances they've had. So if they could just get a good look, they might be able to be all right there. But Hellebuck so far has looked pretty good, especially considering the chances Montreal has had against him. That's the big thing. You can, with these goalies in this series, you can have a lot of really, really good chances and still not get a ton of goals because these goalies, they can just shut it down. And so far, they both, I think, have been able to do that. Prediction for a Game 4, Canes versus Lightning. Well, one thing I'm curious to see, I would imagine that Mrazek's going to be back in net. And if that's the case, it's tough because it's like I want to pick Carolina, but would Tampa Bay really lose 2 at home? I want Carolina to win, but I'm going to say that Tampa Bay wins it just because, you don't want to be them losing both games at home, going back tied into Carolina. I think they're going to try to get some payback for that overtime. I'd really, really like to see Carolina win it, like I said, but, beating them twice at home is going to be a really tough thing for the Hurricanes. But if they could win there, that's huge. Very big deal. Feel free to ask questions or anything like that to kill time right now. We're just in the second intermission, so we've got plenty of time. And then if you are new, please make sure to subscribe. We have grown pretty well the past 2 days with these things. Carolina W, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot, even if it just made it competitive like that. Oh, we lost a subscriber. That's all right. No big deal. Thank you. Yeah, I always have had a weird soft spot for the Canes. So, Chris, I hope they can win for you, and thank you for the appreciation for the channel. I would really, really, really like to see, if I had to pick the 3 teams that I'd say that I'd want to win the Cup the most that are left, I'd probably say the Hurricanes, the Islanders, and then Probably Montreal, just because it's been so long for them. I know Winnipeg's never won one, but it would be fitting that they would win the cup for a Canadian team if Montreal did it. And for Carolina, I mean, they've had a really good team built for the past 3 years now. And they're that team that I've said before. The team that's the young kids that can win a round or two. Or are they a team that can be a contender? I think that this year and next year will go a long way into telling us whether or not that they are a contender, which I hope they are. Still looking for that Hurricanes Cup win. Yeah, I mean the last time they did it, I was in kindergarten, so it's been a minute. I'm going into my senior year of college, so it has been a long time. I actually met a guy when I was down in Florida one time, and he's a big Canes fan, so we talked about hockey for a bit there, and I hope that they just have a really good period of success, so that way they can attract more and more fans from the North Carolina area. And if they can do that, they're going to be stable for a pretty long time, I think. And then for the Islanders, I know I didn't really talk about them as to why I'd want them to win the cup. It's just been a really long time for them. The Rangers have won a cup in that time. And the Islanders, they're a gritty team that just plays, I'm not going to say like old school because, it's not the back in the day where you'd have crazy penalty minutes, but, they're a team that plays good defensive hockey. Right now, they're just doing an interview with Alex Pietrangelo during the intermission. And we'll see how that series goes too, because if Colorado takes that 3-0 lead, it's done. There's no way Vegas is going to win 3 or 4 in a row against them. You're going to have to, I think, in my honest opinion, which I know Vegas fans don't want to hear it, but I think you have to leave Vegas tied 2-2 in order to even keep this thing alive. Vegas, I think for them, ideally, they'd probably, best case scenario, I think that they go into Colorado Game 7 tied. If you do that, it's a winner take all. That takes some of the pressure off. But if they don't win both of those games against Colorado in Vegas, that is going to be a really, really tough hill for them to climb. Are you guys going to be watching that game? I know it's kind of late for people that live on the Eastern Standard Time zone. I hope that it's better than game one. While I enjoyed Vegas getting beat pretty bad, at the end of the day, I did want it to be a competitive series. I will not be, unfortunately. That would be really fun. I just think that, especially with, how I felt today, I kind of felt crummy this morning. I think that I'd be pretty tired, but it would be fun. I think I will cover at least one game if the series is still wide. That'll be my next one that I do. What are your favorite hockey last names? Let me think. I do like Svechnikov. That's a fun name. Let me try to think. Bjorkstrand's a fun one. I'm trying to think here. It's like I always say the players that I like their names, and then of course when I'm put on the spot, I can't remember. Vasilevsky, that's a fun one right there. Barkov, that's fun. Yossi, that's fun. If it's hard to say, I probably like it a lot, just because it's kind of fun to have to learn how to say it. Going to be up for most of it, hopefully. Yeah, I think that, put it on and watch it. Hopefully we get some good hockey with that. I don't know. With Vegas, I said this in the live stream yesterday, and I was just kind of like, well, I think that their control of I can spell Vasilevsky. I have to spell that whenever I do the hashtags for it. I can do that. Could I do Svechnikov? Yeah, I could do that one. I tell you, a player that I always struggle spelling their name is Jesperi Kotkaniemi. That one is rough, but who's my team, Chris? Well, I've got two teams. I got the Blue Jackets, and they were rough to watch this year. And then my second favorite team is the Canucks, but they're pretty even. I'm actually getting a Canucks pennant coming in tomorrow. So we'll have that, probably even it out with some more Canuck stuff. But yeah, those are my two favorite teams. Hopefully you stick around. You'll like the channel. It's all good stuff. And you did say you liked it earlier, so hopefully you continue to like it. Hopefully we can grow this thing, get to 1,000 subscribers, start making money and all that. But yeah, Blue Jackets and Canucks. I'm actually probably going to try to move over to Canada and probably at least close to Vancouver. Try to move out there and watch a bunch of Canucks games, all that good stuff. But yeah, those are my two teams. It has been frustrating to be a fan. I thought last year was really, really rewarding for especially the Canucks, where I thought that if they beat Vegas, I thought we might have had a chance against Dallas. I don't think we would have beat Tampa Bay, but it was really a rewarding, run for us. But, Thatcher Demko could only do so much. That's really cool. That is really cool. Let's see here. Was it the first goal in franchise history? Let's see. Blue Jackets. Yep, it was. That's really cool. Well, if you ever, I'm sure you do see him, say hi for me. Tell him I'm a big Blue Jackets fan. And, maybe if he ever goes back to the stadium and all that, I could catch him there and we could talk just about hockey, whatever. I don't want to bug people, though. See, that's the thing is I'm a talker. And, even if I'm around famous people, I think I'd still want to keep talking to them like an average person. But, it's one of those things that some famous people seem to like being able to talk to, I guess, normal people, you could say. Some other people don't. And I get it, because if you're always going out in public and having to deal with people wanting to take a picture with you, wanting to talk, I would get it. But maybe one day I can be big enough to where if I go out in public, people can see me. I'd have a conversation with them. No problem. I'd take a photo, all that good stuff. Be YouTube famous, as they say. And I don't know. My goal is to get 350 subscribers by the end of the summer. I'm going to check what we're at currently. We're currently at 259. We'll see if we could get there. I think you'd want to be super famous. Yeah, I've kind of gone back and forth with it, but at the end of the day, I do want to be YouTube famous, I guess, in the sense that I have enough to make enough money off of. And if I wasn't doing YouTube, I'd have to be a broadcaster for sports, so I'd probably end up semi-famous, I guess. So either way, I guess the broadcasting career, whatever that would be, would force me to be semi-famous, even if you're in the small market. And you see that even where I live. We have a few news stations around here. They're not crazy big, but if you do see an anchor there, they will stop and talk to people. And I imagine it probably would be kind of annoying if you were famous. That's one of the things people say at first. It's a fun thing to have people be so excited to see you, but if you're always going out and people are like that, then it's just a tough deal, which for Wayne Gretzky, I always imagined that it had to be insane for him, and still is now. I mean, my friend's cousin got to meet Wayne Gretzky because he won some hockey tournament and got to take photos with him. I was so jealous. I wanted to go back underneath the bottom part of the stadium that we were at, and then, just try to sneak a pic with Wayne, even if he wasn't looking. I'd be like, yep, I was in the same room as Wayne Gretzky. But no, his cousin got to talk to him, all that good stuff, talked hockey, talked personal life, got to take photos, all that good stuff. And he said he was a really nice guy. So maybe I'll get to meet Wayne Gretzky one day. Got to do a few cool things. One of the years, my friend's grandpa, he does taxes for a lot of pretty well-off people, and they get him a bunch of tickets, and we got to see the all-state game for basketball here, and we were courtside, which I never got to do anything like that. I didn't have a lot of money growing up, but his grandparents, he makes a lot of money for those people, so he was always really nice about it and just was like, oh, do you want to come with us, blah, blah, blah. And so we get to watch Romeo Langford play, and the ball actually went over to us, and we tossed it back to him for the inbound, but it was kind of cool to be that close to him, although I don't think his basketball career is going off very well in the NBA. Like I said earlier, I'm not a big NBA guy, but the other day I saw that he might have cussed out Brad Stevens, so that's not a good look. I looked up his stats. It didn't look like he was averaging crazy numbers, so maybe it's not working out for him there. Although it does have to be hard, especially when you're a young player. I don't see how these 18-year-old players for hockey will just, fill that role, that mold, and then they'll just be a face of a franchise, have to do interviews, have to deal with some of the fans' harassment on social media. and all that good stuff. I know Scheifele was talking about how his family was harassed since he had that hit in game one of the series. And, he said it pretty well that I'm a grown man. I can take anything, but leave my family out of it. That's fair. If you don't like somebody and you want to go after them, I guess that's one thing. But to go after somebody that's not even involved, that just doesn't seem right. And it's kind of the way I view it. And the thing is people always say this stuff. If you're not going to say it to their face, what's the point of saying it? I think at times I can be kind of confrontational about that, but leave their family out of it definitely seems to be a big thing. They aren't, involved with it. The Canadiens have not trailed in 296 minutes straight. Game 4 of the first round was the last time that they trailed. I really thought that Toronto was going to finish it off in 5. I had my notes and everything ready to go saying Toronto won a series. It was kind of crazy. I just had to delete them because they weren't even worth anything. Would have been funny to keep and just talk about them. So the third has started, and Montreal just passes it on over to a Winnipeg defender, but I think they just kind of needed a second to rebound defensively. Dubois got a shot off, but Carey Price got it with a pad save there. It's a near side shot. Score is 1-0. Montreal has the lead. They also lead in shots 17-16, but once that gets updated, it will be tied 17-17, and then there's icing on Winnipeg. It's weird seeing Dubois in the 13. Every time I see him, I always think 18. So when I don't see the 18 on his jersey, I always think, who is that? But yeah, just a little bit over 19 minutes left in the third. So there's plenty of time for Winnipeg to tie this up, send it in overtime, or win it. We'll have to see. But with the chances Montreal has been able to get right here, just like that, Kotkaniemi had kind of a light shot. I don't know if he could get it off timing-wise. He had a good chance there, though. But it just seems like turnovers are not a good thing for Winnipeg right now. I'll have to look at the turnover stats if I can at a break or something like that. But yeah, turnovers seem to be kind of frustrating for Winnipeg, coming at the worst possible times. Pollen takes a shot from the point, couldn't get it to go, though. And Price does not seem like he's been forced to have to deal with a lot today. It doesn't look like he's been – it almost looks like somebody, where you play against your dad or something like that, and they just aren't even really having to try. It doesn't look like he's had to worry about a lot of stuff. I can already feel myself getting tired, which is crazy with the amount that I slept today because I feel bad, but figured to get this live stream off. Montreal gets a chance, but it gets blocked. Ooh, looked like it might have gone up along the boards and almost out of the ice. That would have been good for Montreal. Winnipeg would have had the power play, obviously. Ehlers takes a really, really crazy angle, gets a shot off, but it couldn't go. Winnipeg's playing pretty well to start this third. I know it's only been 2 minutes, but Kopp's down because of the shot that was taken. He was in front, ended up getting hit. Looks like he's okay. He's getting up off the ice. I don't know if he's going to go to the locker room or what. He's squinting. I don't know where he got hurt or hit. Looks like it hit him in the skate. Ooh. Yep, so the shot, there's another shot, ended up hitting him in the back as he fell. And that was a pretty intense shot. That was I don't remember if that was a slap shot or not, but it had some oomph behind it, so that probably doesn't feel good, but it looks like he's going to stay in. This is what you got to do when it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, so you got to be strong, you got to be tough. You got to just tough it out because, there is no we'll play next game. It's one of those things that, you get eliminated, and that's what it is. It's not like the regular season where you can take some time off. If you take time off and you lose, that's just your season. It's over. And like I said, feel free to comment down in the chat here. Just kind of keeping up with the game. I can talk while we do that as well. it's kind of been a slow period so far. It just seems like the other periods might have been a little bit more in hockey, but seems like it's kind of been a slow start here in terms of the stoppage of play. I'd love to see Stahl get a goal here. I know that he's had some really good looks, but the speed he's old. Actually, I've got Stahl. He's a nice guy. He's liked a few of my photos that I do on my Instagram, which is the same as my YouTube. And, I've never met him, but I've heard he's just a great, great guy. He was a guy that I watched a ton of as a kid. I wouldn't be surprised with some of the chances that Corey Perry's been getting, if maybe he could get one, maybe even a wraparound, something like that. Stahl brothers still balling out in the playoffs. You're darn tootin'. I was glad to see him get out of Buffalo just because of the year that the Sabres had. It was awful. What did they have, an 18-game losing streak? They couldn't even get the record for that. And all around, it was just a terrible year for the Sabres. And now you've got the Jack Eichel drama. It's just been awful. So I was glad to see Stahl go to at least a team that was going to be making the playoffs. And as soon as I realized that Vancouver wasn't going to be making the playoffs, I decided to root for Montreal over Calgary just because I don't like Calgary as a Canucks fan. So I'm going to root for them. Smith Kibbe says, when did I start YouTube? My very first video was a podcast. My first my first 11 videos or uploads were podcasts. My first one was August 31st last year, and I didn't start doing videos regularly until October. So October is when I started to do this pretty regularly instead of once a week. So the growth has not been bad for, how short we've been on YouTube. I'm just hoping to keep putting out videos and getting some subscribers, and you guys have been amazing. You've killed it so far. It's just over 16 minutes left. Winnipeg has the puck. Yeah, growing. That's the thing. It's been tough at times because I don't want to sound like I'm a jerk here or anything like that, but some of my subscribers seem to think that I could be an account that could blow up, a YouTube channel that could blow up and get fairly big. And I love their optimism. I hope that that's the case. So I'm hoping they're right. It's just one of those things that you just got to keep plugging away, keep putting out videos. And, we were at 259 subscribers, I believe, and we were at 218, and that was less than a month ago. Yeah, I should probably look into that, see if I could do it like that. I don't know how I'd have to do it. I'll have to look into that for our next live stream and see if I can do that. I'd have to see if I have a start-stop button that I could do. But I'll definitely have to look into that. That's a great idea, Chris. 15 and a half minutes. Montreal leading 1-0. Still leading shots. I believe it's 21-18. And I don't think Winnipeg's been able to really get a lot of net front presence in this game, which with their shooters, you don't necessarily have to. But if you could get up close for a few shots, that'd be huge. I'd say Kopp's probably been the best at getting that to happen. I'd have to look at the shot charts and all that stuff like that. But I think he's been the main one that's been able to get down low. And Winnipeg is actually on the power play. They've got 1 minute and 45 seconds on it. I didn't get to see what the penalty was. Morrissey takes a great slap shot. Ehlers passed it to him in the high slot. Got a good slap shot off, but Carey Price, if it's not going to be up close in this game, I don't think he's going to give up a goal. And there's not a ton of traffic up in front of the net to block Price's vision. If you're going to take shots far away, you're going to need to find a way to block his vision. A lot of times he's just sticking out his glove like he's just playing catch. Who do I want in this series? I want the Canadiens to do it. My best friend since I've been 5 is a big Habs fan, so we talk about hockey probably about once a day. That's a big part of our friendship is hockey. So for him, I'd really like to see it happen just since the Canucks aren't in the playoffs. As a Canadian team, I'd like to see a Canadian team do well. And I'm a big Tyler Toffoli fan. Wished that he could have stayed with the Canucks. So I'd say Montreal, but I wouldn't have a problem with Winnipeg. I'm a big Hellebuck fan. Still not sure how I feel about Pierre-Luc Dubois going to the Jets. I don't know if I'm still angry at him or not. And I love the fact that if Montreal wins this, it'll be the only goal. If they win 1-0, the only goal will come off of a shorthanded goal for them. And that would just be the funniest thing. There's only 30 seconds left in the power play for Winnipeg, and they have got to get a good look here right now. It's coming into where there's just about 10 minutes left into the game. You don't know if you're going to get another power play opportunity. And right there, they just have not had some good bounces. Seems like whenever they might get a chance, they get a weird bounce. Montreal gets a stick on the puck. And Pierre-Luc Dubois is getting thrown around like a rag doll. You don't see that all the time, but whoever it was just bullied him in the boards. And they kill off the penalty Montreal does, so it's back to 5-on-5 with 13 and a half minutes left in the third. Score still 1-0 Montreal. I think Winnipeg may have got one shot off on that power play, and that is not going to fly right now. I think the bad thing is whoever plays in the next round for these two teams is, going to face, let's say Montreal, I guess, would win this series. They're either going to play Vegas or Colorado. And as fun as this ride has been, I don't think that they would be able to beat either one of those teams. You would need Carey Price to go on an all-worldly level, and you'd probably need the older players to go back to their younger form and the younger players to perform consistently. We're at a commercial break here. It's tough, too, because, that third round, it's going to be really, really hard for whoever has to play either Colorado or Vegas to win that. But Montreal against Colorado would just be really tough. I don't know what you would do to guard McKinnon, too, because McKinnon, with the speed that he has, I know that at times Montreal's blue line has struggled to hang with some of the faster players in the league. And with McKinnon, he's got some speed. He's defensively savvy, so that would be a big, big thing to watch out for in that series. And with the way that Cale Makar's career is going right now, he might just average a point per game as a defenseman, which would be insane. Although at times with the way he plays up, I've noticed this a lot with Hughes and Makar. I think Makar is better defensively, but they play more of the offensive game. They're not afraid to go low down towards the net and take a shot, get a chance there offensively. It does come back to bite, especially Hughes a lot more defensively, but I don't know if I would really classify Hughes as a defenseman at this point with the way he plays. It's always funny to say Quinn Hughes the defenseman when, his offensive game is definitely there. The defensive game is, it's rough at times. I love the way Quinn Hughes plays, but at the same time, whenever he makes a mistake, it's one where it's like you want to pull your hair out and say, Quinn, why did you do that? You guys got anybody on the teams you like that you just can't stand in the sense that whenever they make the mistakes, they seem to be mistakes that were totally avoidable? I think a big mistake that I'm not a big fan of is the Canucks would have absolutely been able to keep Tyler Toffoli this offseason had they not had some bad contracts on the books, and he got paid a pretty fair deal in Montreal. I think it was a pretty team-friendly deal, so it just really stinks him being on there the way he played against was Hal Gardner. Do you guys remember Dion Phaneuf? He was the guy that was a captain for the Maple Leafs for a bit there, I think. And, towards the back end of his career, I don't remember if he's still playing now, but getting scratched a bit. Ooh, good chance for Winnipeg. Just every single. Oh, we might be looking at a power play for Winnipeg. They're going to talk here about whether or not the stick hit the puck for another player, but I don't think they're going to call it there. Well, Gostisberg in Philly was the the make sure my mic's working there. Gostisberg, and Philly was the pride of Philly for a few years there as an offensive defenseman, and now he's getting scratched here and there. I think a change of scenery. I'd really like to see him in Seattle. I'm not going to be a big Kraken fan, but if he could get a chance there to be at least in a top four role, I'd like that to see if he could get some offensive game back. We'll see, but like I said yesterday, I don't think it was a coincidence that Vigneault showed up for Philly and then his game kind of tapered off offensively. It's not always as simple as that, but I do think it's odd that, that happens and the offensive numbers really just plummet. Speaking of golf and tennis that we talked about earlier, they're talking about the U.S. Open. Favorite for the Cup, I picked Tampa Bay during the regular season. I'm still going to roll with it. If I had to pick my top three in order right now, I'd say Tampa Bay, Colorado, and Vegas. Now, what I will say is I trust – the reason I picked Tampa Bay, even though I think that I keep saying Florida, Colorado has some better pieces in some certain areas. I just trust the goaltending more for Tampa Bay. I trust Vasi a lot. There's 11 minutes, about 11 and a half minutes. The score is 1-0 still for Montreal. Winnipeg's got the puck trying to get a little pass here. Good shot, but it was just high. And Kopp is back in. And we've got an injured Montreal Canadian. I'm not sure who it is right now. They haven't shown us the name or the number. It's Jeff Petrie, so he is down. It doesn't look like it's the end of the world for him. It looks like he's going to be okay. It just looks like maybe he got hit in the mouth. Ooh. So I think that see, I'm not a big golf guy. I was followed it for a little bit, but yeah, I keep up with it enough to know that Phil obviously won. And that was really cool for Phil. I know he's getting up there in age, but it's great to see that. And for Petrie, he's got a little blood on the chin there, but other than that, he seems to be all right. I know where the smallest bone in your body is. I don't, but I have a feeling this is about to go a bad place. With that one guy that tried to make that joke yesterday to get me to screw up and say it, so I don't know. Jeremy, why don't you tell us where the smallest bone in our body is? The ear. It's weird to me that sharks have so much of their body as cartilage, I'll say cartilage, and then we just have, the weird nubby ears where we get the cartilage there. I do think I have heard that before, though. My ears are really bad. I failed my school hearing test, so I have to play stuff really loud in order to be able to hear. So I imagine that as I get older, I might have to wear hearing aids, unfortunately. Yeah, I did see Mickelson was the oldest to win a major. Though he's just a fun guy. He seems like a great guy too. A guy that he seems really good with the fans. And I hope that he can just keep pouring it on and keep having some great performances. I know that Tiger Woods got hurt recently in that car accident. I don't know how he's doing now. And here we are with just over 10 minutes, about 10 and a half minutes in the third. Still 1-0 Montreal. And it's going to be crazy. I think we could be looking at a potential empty net goal from Montreal late to win it 2-0. We'll see how that goes. After this, I'll probably have dinner. I have no idea what dinner will be, but I am famished. Had some salami sandwiches earlier. I know that's not probably super great for your stomach, but I'm a big salami pastrami fan and all that stuff. Actually, it was funny. My freshman year of college, I used to go to the dining hall so much that one of the dining hall women, she was super nice. She would always say hi to me and all that. And she knew I always wanted like a melted salami sandwich and all that right off the bat. So still think about her from time to time. I don't have a meal plan anymore, but I almost want to go in there and just see if she's there and say hi. Brooks Koepka was really mad in his post-round interview. Isn't Brooks Koepka hated by a lot of the PGA fans in general? I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he's a fan favorite if I remember correct. Dynamite is made with peanuts. Don't know what to say about that. So we've got, this feels like kind of a slower period with the salvage of play, but there would have been a great chance for Montreal had they not got active with the sticks. I'm telling you what now, if I could see, I think for Montreal, I'd love to see Shea Weber get a goal here. Patrick Reed, I think I've heard that name before. See, that's a bad thing that, for a lot of people that getting into golf, I think Mickelson was a guy a lot of people liked for years, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be doing it. And that's tough. I know you got that younger breed that's supposed to be coming out, and Winnipeg almost had a wraparound chance. Paul Bunyan, as I like to say, managed to get the puck out. When I was younger, my grandpa used to watch golf on Sundays, and I could never understand it. I always thought it was the most boring thing. And as I get older, I understand a lot more why. It's just very relaxing. And, if you've ever have a hectic life, it's just kind of nice to watch them play some golf in some great locations where the weather is wonderful and stuff like that. He would get a big thing of popcorn, have some ice cream, stuff like that, and would just kind of pig out and watch as much PGA as possible. Patrick kicked out his own parents out of the Masters. That's crazy. That's one of the things I've thought about too. You win the Masters, you get to choose what you eat. Maybe it goes by the year before or whatever like that, but it's always a big thing deciding what to eat because food's a big deal to me. I like to eat a lot. And it looks like, that was a great chance. Montreal just couldn't get it to go. You like stats and golf has a lot. Yeah, I don't understand a lot of the stuff with golf, but in the sense that if I ever want something relaxing, I'll put it on occasionally. And you just get to see some of these courses, and it's amazing just getting to look at where they get to golf. And it'd be really cool if you get to be a professional golfer just because of all the great places you'd get to go and all the great golf courses you'd get to golf. I think I could get into golf as playing it, but I think that I'd be really bad at golf. So I don't know how I'd feel about spending a good chunk of money on clubs and being bad at it. I think it'd be one of those things where I'd always be like, oh, I'm going to golf, and it'd be fun. But then once I got there, I'd probably just end up spending a lot of money on alcohol and food in order to make the experience more enjoyable because I'd have a probably extremely high score. There's a lot of funny golf meme pages. I always see those. So I always just kind of just watch those. The memes are always really funny. And they always have, I've followed a few people where they give advice on like how to become better at golf because they're always really nice and entertaining. So I watch them. They seem like nice guys. So I'm going to be honest. I hope this doesn't go in overtime just because I am getting hungry. I haven't eaten since the salami sandwiches, and it's almost 10 o'clock. And the last thing I want is overtime right now, just from that hunger perspective. Plus, I think my phone's about to die, which isn't the biggest deal in the world, but getting that charged and getting some food would be really, really good right now. It's going to be interesting to see, too, I don't know if they call it the Stanley Cup semifinals, but you'll have the East against the Central. So I'd really love to see a Boston Lightning matchup again. I know Tyler would like that a lot. But I'd like it to be competitive. When the Bruins ended up losing in 5 games last year, that was so, so tough to watch. I thought it'd be a little bit more of an entertaining series. I did have a charger earlier, but that's when all the crazy stuff happened where the mic didn't work, so I'm just afraid to use it. This is actually, I think, one of the last few nights at the carnival here, so I might just go there and get some junk food. I know that I don't eat the healthiest, but I had a bunch of broccoli today, which was the first time in a long time that I've had a vegetable, and the first time in a long time that I had a bunch of that vegetable, so Had only water today. I've obviously had the salami sandwiches, which I know aren't the greatest for you, but I had a bunch of broccoli, so I might just pig out on some of that. Once I start to get feeling better in the next few days after this vaccine, I'll probably try to start working out again. Probably just try to convince my wife that we can go get junk food from there. I know that she likes to cook a lot, but they might have Philly cheesesteaks. I'm a sucker for Philly cheesesteaks. That's one of my favorite foods. Seven and a half minutes left to go. Montreal leads 1-0, but Winnipeg does lead in shots again, 22-21. For Montreal, staying off the power play will be the big thing here in this last stretch of the third. You stay off there, you're probably going to be all right. You keep them away from the front of the net, make them keep taking shots up high, and not even just up high, but to the – ooh, Byron might have a chance here. Oh, he goes with the soft shot, and it can't go. He's going to try to go 5-hole there. It couldn't go, but good chance. That's a big thing. Winnipeg's going to have to work on this blue line going into the offseason, whether or not they win this or not. This blue line is going to need some work. I don't know what the free agent class is going to look like, but I'll probably talk about that in a video in the offseason as well, about where some players might be able to go, stuff like that. Tyler Toffoli just always amazes me whenever he has the puck. It always seems like he kind of goes slow. I don't look at Tyler Toffoli and think he's super fast. The way he skates kind of makes me laugh too. He's made a good career though so far. I remember watching him when he's on the Kings, and I wasn't a big Kings fan, but I was always a big Tyler Toffoli fan. And what's funny is I don't like the Kings, but I like a ton of their players. Suzuki strips the puck, has got a great chance, gets the shot off. Hellebuck stops it. You have got to fix this, Paul Maurice. You have got to fix whatever is going on with this blue line right now. It is just routine. They don't have the speed to keep up. Oh, if only I could say Paul Bunyan scores a goal. We'll see if he gets it. And it looks like Montreal's led the odd man rushes category 7-3 in this game. I don't know if that was 5-on-5. Well, it had to be because there wasn't a point where I think they had an odd man rush during all that, but that's going to have to be cleaned up going into game 3 for Winnipeg, even if they find a way to win that. There's 5.5 minutes left to go. And we could be looking at a shutout here for Carey Price. I hope I didn't jinx him there, but as we get closer down, it just doesn't look like Winnipeg's really got a lot of great chances. And they started out the game really well. If you remember, they led 5-1, something like that, in the first 10 minutes. But since then, if I go by scoring chances after that, it's been 24-13 in favor of Montreal. So Winnipeg got off that really good start. I don't think the chances were crazy good, but they had some scoring chances. Ever since that last 10 minutes of the first, it seems like Montreal's been able to kick it in gear. I know I've said that a lot, but it's something that's stuck. I think a big thing, too, is you've got a lot of young players for the Canadiens that when you're younger, you don't need as much rest as at least the narrative that you roll with. Your legs feel a little bit more fresh. And it could be the case here. I think that the Western Conference final that Winnipeg made a few years back might have set a narrative, because if you remember, they were fairly young-ish when they made that run to the conference finals, and it looked like they had finally turned a corner, and they do play playoff hockey, I'll give them that, but I just don't think they're going to win a Stanley Cup with this group. Until you fix the blue line, I think that's going to be a big thing holding them back. Do I watch any sports besides hockey? Yeah, so I follow the CFL, and I don't know if they're ever going to get back to playing. It seems like we might not. They say we're supposed to return in August, but I wouldn't be surprised if they canceled this season. And if they cancel it again, I'm just not going to follow the CFL anymore because it'd be 2 years without football. And then I follow what we call soccer here, what other people around the world call Bundes or football. For the Premier League, I've kind of just been following Liverpool, but I've been following Bundesliga a lot. I like that a lot. My family's German, so I've kind of been keeping up with that. I'd say my favorite club for Bundesliga is FC Cologne. I know that they aren't very good, but just a good environment. So watch that, and I'm trying to get the whole point of me watching soccer at the time was to be able to broadcast games for ESPN for my job. So I've been learning a lot about that. Do I watch the NFL? Kind of. It's a really complex thing there, but I keep up with it. Don't know how much longer I will be, just for reasons that just have to do relate more with me. I will say one thing I'm not a big fan of is the league expanding to 17 games. 16 just seemed perfect. I really liked how it was set up. You had 4 games you could break it into, and I'm not a big fan of the 17 game thing, but they want to make more money. I get it. Favorite NFL team is the Cleveland Browns. Hoping they can have another good season. Problem is, if we don't win a Super Bowl with this core, especially when those rookie deals expire, I don't think we're going to win a Super Bowl. The problem is I don't think we're going to win a Super Bowl with this group. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of injuries, especially with the added game. And for a team like the Browns, where I think in some areas we lack a lot of depth, we can't really afford injuries. Yeah, the CFL's been at 18 games for, I think, since the 80s. And I think that that's where they want to push it to for the NFL. I like the 18-game thing. I'm not going to lie. 17 just seems like a really ugly number. 16 I liked a lot. The CFL did 16 for a long time, but in the 80s they switched it to 18. Just under 4 minutes here. Montreal still leads 1-0, and the shots have not been high. It's 24-22. Montreal leads the shots. I don't know. I don't think that Winnipeg's going to be able to get a good look here. I said that a few minutes ago. They might. It just seems that not a lot of great net presence, but they might get a chance here. Carey Price blocks the shot, though. Gets a weird rebound. They go for the shot. Carey Price makes it over there. That was far side. He managed to scoot on over. Always fun to watch goalies just, slide on over. Actually, my friend's dad was a teenager when the Indianapolis Ice, which was a minor league hockey team here, was in Indy, and he just was there hanging out after one of their practices one day, and he was there a little bit. He's a big hockey guy. That's kind of how we got into big hockey a lot, just because his dad's kind of like my dad, because I hung out at his house all the time. But he actually got to, after practice, if the guys wanted to work on their shot and stuff like that, would go in net with pads. They let them put on pads and stuff and have them work on their shots while he was in there. So it was cool. The Indy Ice don't exist anymore. Now they have the Fuel. That was cool. Yeah, it's a very defensive game. I don't mind it because I like defense, but I know that for other people, they like high-scoring games. That seems to be the majority, but I'm a low-scoring guy. I would like to see maybe 2-1, I think, might be my favorite type of game. 3-2 is not bad, but any hockey is good hockey. I've said that for a long time. I could watch 2 of the worst teams in the league, and I'm still going to watch it. 2.5 minutes left to go. Winnipeg's probably going to throw out their best forward group now, or just anybody, their best offensive lineup towards the end here, get some good shifts going. Wheeler tried to get a backhand off there, couldn't get it to go. They've got an empty net now, so Montreal gets a hold of that. It's going to be a 2-0 win if they can get that. They do obviously have the man advantage 6-5 with just under 2 minutes to go. We'll see how it goes here. Paul Bunyan will get this goal. I'm calling it. Take a shot. Miss. Pionk passes it over. Price gets a stop. 1.5 minutes left to go. A lot of fighting along the boards. Pionk went to take the slap shot, but he missed it. That could be crucially bad for Winnipeg. Winnipeg gets a shot off. They go for a rebound, and the puck gets knocked down. It's going to be called an icing with 1:11 left. Looks like Winnipeg's turning it on towards the end here. They lead in shots 24-27 or 27-24. If Montreal can just get the puck and shoot it down, I think that they'll probably win this game. I couldn't imagine Winnipeg scoring 2 goals in the span of about a minute if Montreal was able to get this shot off. They're going to have to take the face off again, though. They'll reset the clock to 1:11. I'm telling you what, guys, if they have a Philly cheesesteak over there, rip to that Philly cheesesteak because I'm going to take it to town. I know a lot of people are big into Philly cheesesteaks, but I'm not a very picky eater. There's 2 foods I don't eat, eggplant and asparagus. Outside of that, I eat just about anything. I've had eel, octopus, eggs, stuff like that. I've had some pretty weird food. Pionk up. Back to Pionk. Connor takes a shot, couldn't get it to go. They maintain possession. It's back to Connor. Pionk passes it back to Connor. Back to Connor again. Back to Pionk. Pionk takes a slap shot. Deflected. Back behind the net. Montreal's got the puck, and it looks like they aren't going to take a shot. They're just going to try to lightly tap it so it's not an icing. There's under 45 seconds to go, 37 seconds currently. This is probably going to be it. Tyler Toffoli. Oh, he hit the goalpost and missed the empty netter. 22 seconds to go. Tyler Toffoli, he was a little bit of ways, but he just hit the goalpost. It was wide open. Oof. One more chance, hypothetically, for Winnipeg. 22 seconds. Yeah, Tyler Toffoli was right around the blue line. He just hit the post. I'm kind of surprised. Usually you see a shooter pull it toward, if they're a right side player, they'll pull it to the left. But no, he pulled it to the right and hit the goalpost. Actually, they reset the clock. There's going to be – okay, now they're moving it around. It was 28. Now they're moving it back to – oh, I'm not sure what's happening. Now the clock's having an issue. They just keep dropping it. So I guess we don't know how much time's left with the way that they're moving the clock around. It just keeps going down by a second every second. They're going to have to fix the clock. My guess, though, is there is going to be over 20 seconds. That's not a lot of time for Winnipeg, but you can get to the other end of the ice in under 10 seconds. And you already know I had an elf in here the other day from that place, so I might just spoil myself again and get an elf in here. What's weird is I've been eating really, really bad lately, but I've been losing weight. Really weird. 22 seconds left. It's going to be a face-off in Winnipeg's end. They still have an empty net. They're battling along the boards, and it's still in Winnipeg's end. They're not going to be able to get down to the ice in time. There's 5 seconds left. They might get a chance here with Connor. He takes a shot. That's going to be a high sticking. Nope, that's it. That's going to do it. The Montreal Canadiens will take a 2-0 series lead going back to Montreal. They have upset the Winnipeg Jets so far, and Carey Price had a great game. And Montreal, while they didn't put up a lot of shots, had a lot of great chances. Credit to Kyle Connor. He almost had a chance to score a goal at the end there, but that is going to wrap it up for this live stream. And Kyle Connor's shot just hit Carey Price's helmet. And Scheifele has got to be feeling frustrated right now as he is not able to play for the Jets. And they are down 2-0 going into Quebec, into what could be an awesome atmosphere if they brought back fans, but I don't think they're going to bring back a ton. Either way, it's going to be a fun Game 3. And either way, like I said, we'll be covering a game Tuesday or Wednesday. I've got YouTube videos coming out in between that time, so make sure to watch those. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll give you guys a second to just type whatever you want down in here. And it looks like Carey Price is now third for all-time Montreal Canadiens playoff shutouts. Winnipeg down bad. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that they're going to beat Montreal both games in Montreal. I think Winnipeg's probably going to, or Montreal is going to be heading back to Winnipeg with at least a 3-1 lead. Although, how ironic would it be if they actually ended up going up 3-1 and then lost that lead against the Canadiens? That'd be crazy. But yeah, I'll leave it just a few more seconds on here. You guys can put whatever. I had a great time with you guys. Sorry for all the craziness during the first live stream today, the fire alarm, and then me not realizing the audio. Probably give you to the 141 marker. And alrighty, guys, we're going to finish this video off. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. You guys have been amazing. I had such a great time, and I will see you Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll get it figured out. So have a great night.